Hey everybody, it's Peter again, and today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I mean, you've seen me veneering and building cabinets and all that stuff, and I am introducing a new product line, and the name of that product line is Ding Dong Audio, and this will be the first of many components that I'm going to introduce into the speaker building world, and it can be for DIY speakers, it can be for off-the-shelf speakers, which we'll be doing these little polks. And so what is it? Briefly, there's always a concern when you've got a box speaker that there's going to be box resonance. And so what I'm doing here is to damp the cabinet but I'm doing it on the outside of the cabinet. So instead of typical, which is putting it inside, this is an external coating. And two different products. There's a baffle balm, which of course goes on the baffle, and then the other components consist of three parts. And there's this is supersonic powder, and you can see that's kind of powdery. And then there's a supersonic aggregate, which is a little bit more coarse. And those two things put together, and this is a 3-to-1 mixture, and then enough of the supersonic liquid to get it to a paste-like consistency. And so we'll be doing that first and then this second. And so I'm going to kind of get reset up here, and we'll get on to the actual application. So catch up with you in a little bit. Alrighty, I'm back again. And first step here is to want to scuff up these cabinets a little bit. Want that stuff to bond really well. So I don't want to get any junk in my eyes, so I'm going to use safety glasses. I'm going to use a little pneumatic sander here. You could do this with any kind of sandpaper. I'm using 36 grit here, and that might seem kind of rough, but you're going to cover this all up, so it doesn't really matter too much. So I'm just going to do this really quick, and then we'll get back to the application. Okay, that gets that roughed up and ready to go, and then I won't be worrying about the face at this point. This particular speaker has kind of a rough surface on here anyway, so I'll be applying the second product directly onto the face. So let's get going here, and I'll be back with more stuff. Okay, we're back to step 3, and like I said in the earlier segment, 3 parts of supersonic powder, and I'm going to mix it all in this bucket. So you want to put 3 parts of this. Guess I should turn that around so you can see the label. So 3 parts powder. 1 part aggregate, and then this, it's a little bit variable. Probably going to differ if you're in a warm environment. It's about 65 in the shop or something right now, so I might have to mix a little more. And I should warn you up front, this will harden in about 45 minutes. So once I mix it, I need to get going on the application right away. And these are the tools I'll be using for application. These are wide putty knives. And I might use this. I haven't really decided yet. We'll see when we get there. Give it a little texture. And once this stuff is dry, you can paint it if you want to. And so let's get to it. Oh, I should tell you one other thing. So I'm going to be using this mixer to mix this up. And I think I'll probably do that on the floor. I can mix those dry ingredients. And I'll set up another camera so you can see this. And you could vary the aggregate if you wanted a little more texture to the coating. But we'll just go ahead and get this done. And then I'm going to set this on the floor and mix it, and I'll catch it with my other camera. So you can see that's pretty thick, so I'm going to mix a little more supersonic liquid in there. My battery's dying. I'll be right back. And you can probably see it on that camera. I'm going to clean off my mixer here a little bit. And this is just water in this bucket. I don't know which camera to face here. You know, me and my wonderful videography skills. So, that's the consistency of that. And you can see it's probably somewhere between peanut butter and mayonnaise. So let's get started. Yeah, my microphone cord is getting weird here. So let's get the speaker up here. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is the bottom, and you guys have seen these before. This is just something to elevate the speaker so I can work on it after I've coated the bottom. So like I said, this has about a 45-minute pot life, and you just get it on there, and then you can spread it out. And ideally, about 1/8 of an inch coating. And if you were doing a big speaker, you probably want to use a big knife. But you get the idea. And then you want to kind of get it off the edges, and on the sides it doesn't matter too much, but on the back there and on this baffle, I should turn this around and show you what I'm doing here. Oh man, let me fix my microphone cable. That's just driving me crazy. So here, if you're good with a putty knife, you can do this without masking. And if you're not, you can mask it off, but that'll be all right. All right, so I'm just going to flip that over and set it on my stand there. And that'll just have 3 points sticking up into it. And it's going to be on a stand. You'll never see it, so shouldn't be a problem. And then get this applied everywhere. And take your knife and kind of blend in that front. And you can really kind of stack it up. You can see why I have this plastic here now, because it's, if I'm not real good with my knife, I might just slop it all around. Not that I'm sloppy, you know. If you've watched my videos before, you know I'm not. Although it might be hard to tell if you were just watching this one. Okay. So let's see here. We'll get it on the side. Oh, I should probably. I'll do this on the other side. I'll make it so you can see it. And this should improve the sound quality of this speaker really significantly. Fortunately, it's got some grill retainers there that I can grab onto. You probably can't put too much on. I mean, if you can get it to hang on the side there, if it's an 1/8 inch or a 1/4 inch or whatever, you're golden. And then just one last pass, kind of smooth things out. And okay, and then on to the other side. I need to move my rinse bucket here. And there, I don't know if that, you can see the consistency of that stuff. Probably more like mayonnaise than peanut butter. Let me see if I can get this in the center so you can see it better. So you just kind of smoosh it on there. That's a technical term. Kind of go around that front corner. We'll fix that up later. I can already tell this stuff is stiffening up just a little bit, so this is the one part of it where you probably need to be a little bit quick. And you'll know if you're not, because it'll start to get stiffer. Oh wow, well there's some I didn't get mixed up. You can see that powder right there. Shouldn't be a big deal. We'll just scoop that up and mix it up right on the side there. If you can, you want to try now. Right there, there's a little bit of a void, probably because that powder was there. And I want to smooth that out a little bit. Looks like we're a little light up here. Start that back off a little. I kind of like this blue color. I had my choice when I was developing it to use blue or green. And I chose blue. It's my favorite color. Okay, I think we're good. Oh, whoops, missed a spot. Right down here. I've never really put frosting on a cake, but it's got to be something like this. Smooth this out a little. So that looks pretty good. And so I'm going to let this dry. Like I said, it takes about 45 minutes, an hour for this to harden. And then we'll come back with the other component. And it paints on, but you'll see when we get there. So back in a few. Okay, we're back for stage 2. And this has been drying for an hour and a quarter, something like that. And to fully cure, that probably takes overnight, but it's hard now, so we can go ahead and do the baffle balm. And I'll do the back first. And one nice thing about coating that bottom and then sticking it on the stand like that is it sort of indexes it so that the cabinet stays sort of in position on there. So kind of a happy accident. And I'm going to put my glasses on so I can see what I'm doing here. And I'll try and show the camera. Oh, and I have to apologize. The last segment, I thought I had 2 cameras running. I didn't. So the mixing part, you're just going to have to use your imagination on. I mixed it, just didn't show it. So anyway, this stuff, you can see, it's kind of goopy. And this is pretty easy. Oh, you know, maybe there might be, if there's any dingleberries hanging off of here, you maybe want to get them knocked off, and you can just push them off with your fingers. And I see a few on the sides there. It looks like we're pretty good. So this stuff, if you've ever painted your bathroom or something like that, this is a lot the same. You just kind of smush it around. I suppose you could use a roller, although I've never tried it. And it looks kind of light green when it goes on, but it'll dry to a lot darker green. This is a really viscoelastic thing, and it really enhances the way that the cabinet butter works. So you can see I'm not taking a lot of time, and I'm just using up what's on the lid there. Pretty easy stuff, and this is a disposable brush. Don't use your good brushes. And then when you get to the binding posts on the back, or wherever they are, I guess they'd be on the back, you can kind of work your way around there, and really it wouldn't matter if just, you know, we'll just coat the whole thing. I mean, these binding post cups, they're not very well damped anyway, so we'll just put a good coating on there. Be sure and kind of mash it around, get it everywhere, then go over the rest of the cabinet. Good thick coat, probably 40 or 50 mils thick. Be good. And we'll make sure those things still work. Okay, so now we'll go around, and you can see why I'm using gloves. And I don't know if you noticed, but the gloves match the shirt. So how coordinated am I today? All right, so I'll spin this around, and I'll show you how I do the front. Same kind of a thing. You just want to get it everywhere that the blue isn't. And you know, if you can keep it off the drivers, oh, it's just not that big a deal. Just want to cover all the black. And if you're doing this in your house, like I said, you probably want some plastic down. And you can sort of stuff this stuff into nooks and crannies, and we aren't going to be using the grill again, so I don't really care if I get some goo on there, but I do want to make sure that there's no voids. And I don't want to plug the port there, so take my finger and smoosh that around. So you get a good coating on the baffle, and then you can coat the drivers. And the way to do especially the tweeter on this one, because it's got a lot of intricate sort of detail in there, you just take the brush and you just push it right in there. And that way you coat all the interior surfaces, or all the kind of recessed surfaces in there. And kind of the same thing on the woofer here. Just want to make sure and get it everywhere. And I suppose this technique works good around the perimeter, but on the driver itself, probably want to use more of a brushing stroke. I could kind of get that center covered, and then just take your brush and Go around it like that. Sort of concentric circle there. Notice a couple places I'm a little light here, so I'm going to put some more on. And you can see some places it's already starting to dry, and it gets darker, it gets dark green. So that's all there is to it. And if you wanted to, you could coat the whole cabinet, but if you're going to do that, I guess first of all you have to like the color, and secondly you should probably wait until next day. So I'm going to let that dry for probably a couple hours it'll take for that to get completely dry. And then we'll kind of wrap up at the end, so I'll see you in the next segment. Okay folks, here we are, and kind of got everything cleaned up, and this has been drying for a couple hours, so it's done. And I think it turned out pretty good, don't you? And so the real test, I think, is in the actual sound improvement that this made in the speaker itself. So I think this probably improved the sound by, 50 or 100%. And one of the ways we can sort of test that is the tap test, which means you're tapping on the cabinet and listening for resonance. And so I thought I'd do that and let you listen, and you tell me what you think. One more time. So I think it made a big difference. See, these should sound really good, and I'll have to get the other one done. And it is just a little bit unstable, but you could stick a wedge or something under there. Just not a big deal. It'll be okay. And so that's it for this little introduction of the Ding Dong Audio cabinet butter and the baffle balm. And so I hope you liked the video. And if you want to do this to your own speakers, well, I guess there's just one thing I'd like you to remember, and that would be this. See you on the next one.